In the service of ire.
It's time for final round Code A. Decide who gets straight into Code S. Only one player out of each one of these matches will be going straight there. Everyone else, even though they have come this far, will fall down the up and down matches.
Yeah, exactly. We have the third round of Code A. This is the first day. In total, there are 3, and we will find out who is going to advance to Code S and who will be stuck in the up and downs. Still has a shot to go to Code S, but in the end, most of them will probably find themselves in Code A after this. Today we have 4 matches, and this is going to be quite the interesting day. A lot of very, very good players that we're going to witness today.
There's going to be a lot of excellent matches, not only today, but for the next 2 days as well. We've got 3 days straight of the final round of Code A. Anyone who wins the best of 3 today will go directly into Code S and will be able to go into that round of 32 group stage. And that's really exciting because today, as we find out, they've come this far, they qualified for Code A, some of them got seeds into Code A, some of them fell out of Code S, and everyone here is still fighting to get that direct spot right back into Code S here, and some of them are going to do it.
Yeah, we have some really interesting stories today too. For example, our first match is between Vampire and HyuN, and Vampire was able to take down Parting, one of the results that a lot of people did not expect. Now he finds himself in the third round and could claim a Code S seed. On the other hand, we have HyuN, who was already in the third round of Code A last season, had to play a game that he lost in the end against Genius because he missed his drop upgrade. We talked about it during the season, and today I'm pretty sure that he will double check if he really researched the upgrade if he wants to go for the same strategy again.
Yeah, I think that third time may be a charm, I suppose, for him here. The first starting map it looks like going to be Daybreak. So actually, no, I take it back. It's going to be Whirlwind, a really big map for these 2 players. And this is just the first 2 players that we're going to see today. But we're going to see later on Alive and Creator. We're going to see Squirtle and Hack as well.
That's going to be really interesting. We have a team match, so once against a team kill, this time in the third round. And well, if you just look at the player names, you would usually say that Squirtle is definitely the favorite player here. But on the other hand, Hack is really good against Protoss. He's been training a lot, and he looked very solid in the last games.
Plus, it's a team match, so there's always a lot of mind games that go into this. Sometimes you see players do weird strategies as a result of that. We also have Hart in here. Wasn't quite able to get out of the Code S stage to preserve himself in Code S, but he came pretty close. He's done a lot of all-in strategies, but he has played in straight-up games. Really looking forward to seeing if he can take out Byung today.
That's going to be an interesting Terran versus Terran. You can already see that we have 1 Zerg today. The rest of the matches will be either Terran versus Protoss or a Terran Mirror. Let's have a quick look at the games that we are going to see today.
Yep.
Here they are.
Yep. We talked about them all, but here they are listed out. Vampire versus HyuN, Hack versus Squirtle, Byung versus Hart, and last but not least, Alive versus Creator. An excellent lineup of matches for today.
I think Alive against Creator, probably the most anticipated match of the day. This game is going to be so good. Earlier, Pig tweeted us and told us that Creator is still at the Prime House and he's currently practicing for his match. Yep. So this is going to be one good game. Both of these guys are experienced players and they are very, very strong. So I would have loved to see both of them in Code S, but only one can advance today.
Yep. And here is our first match stats. Vampire, he got Suho Shinned last season, but this season he's made it all the way to the third round. He's going up against fan favorite HyuN here. This is going to be a really, really close match. I gotta say, both these guys are pretty evenly matched in this matchup, and I'm really excited to see how HyuN is going to play. Is he going to change up his style, or is he going to stick with it?
HyuN is really confident these days. One of the things that he did not win was a spot for Iron Squid when we casted the Korean qualifier. He came in at third, did not get one of the 2 spots. He lost to Live, which is not such a big deal if you think about it. Live is in the Code S final for a reason. Yeah. Here we have both of them. To the left, of course, the MVP player. It is Vampire. And to the right, we have the TSL Zerg. It's HyuN.
HyuN looking good in his white TSL hoodie. Vampire looks good in his blue MVP shirt as well. HyuN a little bit more seasonal here. It's starting to get a little bit colder during the nighttime.
Yeah, HyuN is also definitely used to being in the third round of Code A. He really wants to have his breakout and get into Code S. Finally, the map is loading, ladies and gentlemen. This GSL day has just started. We are at Code A, and game number 1 is a Protoss versus Zerg between Vampire and HyuN. Let's get things started on Whirlwind. A couple of more seconds until we are actually in the game.
Yeah. Be patient, don't fret at home. The game will, in fact, start. They're both staring at that loading screen right now, just as we are.
Yeah, I cannot wait. This game is promising to be really good, especially with Vampire and his recent performance. This could be quite the surprise. Let's see what's going to happen here. It's the GSL Code A, brought to you by HyuN Wolf. You know, Wolf, you were so right when you were talking about the guy that we see on screen. Last season in Code A, he got suo-shinned, he lost to a Zerg player. Will he be able to claim this Code S spot and finally defeat a Zerg here in the third round of Code A? We'll find out. He is...
MVP Vampire.
Very strong Protoss, comes out in the Team League from time to time for MVP as well.
Was able to take down Parting in the last round, but to the top left we have his opponent, cross-positioned on Whirlwind in game number 1. It's a Zerg player who won 10 IPL
Fight
clubs in a row, exactly. Will he be able to go to Code S this time? Last season he forgot a drop upgrade. Yes.
HyuN.
And he faced a Protoss player already against Genius on Entombed Valley. Everything was in place. A 200 supply Roach army, the Overlords with speed, and then he wants to take them up and suddenly pick them up as he realizes, oh wow, I actually forgot the upgrade. And from that point on it was just an uphill battle. He had no chance whatsoever. And this is one of the things that makes him quite angry. He talks about it nearly every time he plays here at Code A. Today he has another chance.
He's basically had to start from scratch, as he wasn't able to succeed in the up and downs either. So he's just kind of been stuck in Code A, although he feels very comfortable and confident that he should be in Code S. He does go for the pool first here, and we do see the Forge as well, so he's got to make sure that he does not get cannoned. The Overlord is in position to check.
Also really important about HyuN is that he was quite happy when he saw the results of Vampire in the last round. He was one of the people who expected Parting to come out. He was actually already mentally preparing for Parting. He thought, well, StarCraft player is going to be pretty difficult to deal with. Then he saw that Vampire advanced and he was really happy about it. But today Vampire might prove to be too much for HyuN to take down.
Yeah, he may very well indeed. We are going to see, as it looks here, the Nexus planted before cannoning. He does have that Forge up very early, but doesn't necessarily need to use it right now. He chases the drone away because he doesn't want to get his Nexus blocked by a forward hatchery. Didn't see the hatchery had been planted yet, so those minerals could have been used. He could have done a Yu-Gi-Oh there. Really uncommon, especially on a map like this, but it does happen from time to time. Now the Nexus does get planted, and the question will become, of course, will HyuN take gas soon? He's checking very carefully just to make sure there's no cannoning, no pylons behind his mineral line. Does not want to lose that hatchery.
And the positions are really good for HyuN here. With the cross position, it's quite difficult for the Protoss player to just cross the entire distance to the opponent's base and put a lot of aggression on. Timings, therefore, are a lot weaker, especially on a map like Whirlwind, where you have so many chances to flank, to just run by, to do damage. So Vampire has a really tough game ahead of him, and let's see how HyuN is going to play this. He takes his third base already at the 4-minute mark.
Yeah, and this is something that the probe wants to see ASAP. He's actually going to go check for it right now if he knows it's good for him, and the probe does. He goes to check for it. You want to know always as a Protoss player, is there a third base? When is it taken? How do I react to this? On this map, the third base is really far away. It's pretty hard to spread that creep over there, so you got to be very diligent about that. Otherwise, you may die to a 2-base timing attack from Protoss, or even pressure can kill your hatchery if you're not careful about that.
Yeah, definitely true. HyuN, on the other hand, will play this very, very safe here, which we can already see. He spotted the probe, so he knows exactly what's going on. He has Overlords in position, taking position at the natural and at the potential third base of Vampire. And the MVP Protoss just finished with his Nexus, is now starting on his 2 bases. He'll start his tech with the Cybernetics, so here we go. Zergling, of course, not even trying to get in there. He knows exactly that with the cannon only needing 2 shots to take a Zergling down, he has no chance of getting the scouting information now. Yeah,
I like that he only made 2 links as well after he checked for the cannon. He didn't waste any larva. You know, most players will make 4, but he only made 2 because of 1 extra drone early on. You can see the 3rd and 4th gas has been taken here by Vampire pretty quick at the 5:30 mark, and this does indicate he wants to be taken somewhat heavily, as he's not even done with the Cybernetics just yet. The links, oh, there's no links there, that's a huge people. I heard a cannon firing, I just assumed those links are on a suicide mission, but...
Nah, not really, but if you look at the minimap, if you play like close position on this map, it can be deceiving. You look at the map and you think, okay, it's a huge map, so if you start close position, the push distance is actually not that big. But cross position is like the worst case scenario for Vampire, and I can guarantee you, when he saw where HyuN was spawning, he was like, why me? And now he's going straight into a Twilight Council, so we don't have this robotics opening, which is usually if you want to go for an Immortal push or even the Stargate. We've seen all these openings on Whirlwind, but only if you are cross position, or most of the time we're cross position. A 2-base timing attack, if he wants to execute one, evolving around Blink Stalkers would be quite a nice idea, and the most mobile option that he actually has.
Yeah, you're right. This type of strategy is a really good one. It's hard to fall back after this attack fails, if it does in fact fail. You will be able to get +2 out very quickly with this Twilight Council as well, so we're probably going to see a +2 Blink Stalker with 1 Observer coming across. He has put a little bit of pressure on here with the natural, with the Zealot and Stalker, because he knows speed is likely not to be completed.
And we have a quite, well, we have the tech right now, and also the Roach Warren. The tech is a little bit faster than you would usually assume. As you can see, speed is not even research. He's going straight into Roaches as for now. Now finally starting his upgrade, as he has, once again, 100 gas. But the Blinkstalker push here is quite interesting. It's a strategy that has been very popular on small 2-player maps, Ohana and Daybreak, just to give you 2 examples. It fell a bit off the grid because most Zerg players know how to deal with it these days, and there are just stronger options that you have, Immortal push being one of them. But on a map like this, with the positions that we already talked about, it makes a lot of sense.
It does.
You're very mobile, and you have the opportunity to put a lot of aggression onto your opponent. But HyuN, with a fast tech, will be able to go into an infestation pit. So if he spots what's actually going on, and he will get an Overseer pretty soon, I guess, then he will be able to get the Infestors, will get the Fungals, and there's already the Overseer morphing. He wants the scouting information.
Now, right now, Vampire is actually nearing 200 Chrono Energy on his Nexus. He finally decides to Chrono Boost actually a few more probes out, but with not using any of his Chrono Energy, that means that he's planning on using it for his Warp Gates. When he warps and he wants to have that second round of units so quickly, rather than using any of it on the Blink Stalker Research for the +2, he is just 100% saving it right now. He does show the Nexus here.
Yeah, he goes for 3rd base. The Zerglings have already seen it. Of course, he could try to take the 3rd base. The Blink Stalkers would still be really, really useful. Because one of the things that you can face on this map are also Mutalisks, and with Blink Stalkers you have a very good tool in your hand in order to defend against them. But on the other hand, there could be a cancel, but with the additional gates that he's just building, it doesn't look like it's going to.
Yeah, it doesn't look likely. This build is really weird. You can save so much Chrono Energy. It seemed very clear that he was going to try to use Warp Gate. He's got to use Force Field though, and he messes it up completely. He will lose every sentry here.
The sentries are about to die, and now the Roaches break through. HyuN putting so much aggression onto his opponent, and it looks like Vampire is going to lose way too much, and not only his sentries, but also the gateways that he's just building, and he will have to cancel the 3rd base too.
Yeah, he cancels it. This is so weird, the build he's chosen. He's making Immortals now. He's actually getting charged. The charge kind of makes it look like he doesn't have plans to get a 3rd base anytime soon. Look at how high his resources are, and he's not able to spend them. And now he's in a lot of trouble. He could lose his force potentially. I think he will.
And if he loses the forge, he will lose his ability to upgrade. HyuN backs off here. He doesn't want to sacrifice any units to this. But now he knows exactly that he can take a 4th base. He can start his tech. He killed so many sentries that it's very difficult for Vampire to move out onto the map.
He cancels Charge, by the way, which I think is a great choice. There's not a ton of reason why Charge would actually make sense on a map like this with the low Zealot count he has. It looks like he's trying to figure out what he wants to do next. Like he's trying to decide, okay, do I want to actually hit Charge and attack him now? Do I actually want to try to push out and take a 3rd base? He seems a little bit uncertain right now. He is getting +1 armor.
I think he's actually thinking about pushing out with Immortals, but at this time, that
the Infestor's already on the way.
Nah, he's getting a 3rd base. He's trying to establish his 3rd base. If he pushes out right now, this would be suicidal.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The Ling here will spot the Nexus as well, though. So he's not in the dark about it. 8 Infestors are on the way. Burrow is on the way as well. The upgrades of the Zerg are not as good as Vampire's upgrades are going to be. He's going to be at 2-1 very quickly here. The Lings are going to be just at 1-1.
But I guess that HyuN is going to push very soon. He's even taking a 4th base right now, and as soon as he has the Infestor, the Burrow upgrade, he can go in with the Infestor Terrans. He can do so much damage. He's already far ahead in supply, and just looking at his bases, he has 4 bases against 2 mining, and this is a huge problem. The Zerglings running in again, taking down the Burrow, focusing straight on the gateway.
He can force cancel his Nexus potentially if he wants to. He's got so many Lings in sights. He doesn't want to trade them though.
Yeah, he doesn't want to get
wait
forced
for the Infestors. You're right, yeah. The Infestors are slowly walking across the map right now. In total, there are 8 of them. 3 more are going to make it 11. And with all these Infestors, he's going to have so much Fungals, but also not only the Fungals, but the Infested Terrans can add so much extra DPS against an army like this.
Yeah, the base is just, the map is really hard to play for Vampire here with those positions, but of course losing those sentries was key. And now the Infestors come in. Here are the Infested Terrans we talked about. He can use Burrow in order to save the Infestors if he wants to. And at the same time, the Stalking the Blink Pole, they take away too many Infestors. He needs to be careful here.
Yeah, he definitely could have easily burrowed those. He took out the Observer earlier on, so that was not going to be a concern for him. And this is actually a pretty good engagement.
Yeah.
Vampire, he killed so many Infestors there. 5 of them went down.
This was way better for Vampire than he should have been.
The Nexus does survive. Now he's only down 30 supply. He's getting the proper tech that he wants. His Robotic Swarm is finishing up. HyuN so far has not started a Hive. He's actually continuing Infestor production, trying to get those upgrades out. But if Vampire actually hits a timing off 3 bases with a few Colossi, he could be in trouble because he doesn't start a Spire, he doesn't start a Hive. He could actually find himself really weak to Colossi.
I think HyuN wants to end it before this happens. He will most likely get a Spire. He already takes gas at his 4th base and is getting now an insane amount of gas. But you are right. Vampire is getting a lot of upgrades. He's going for the +2 armor upgrade. Extended Thermal Lance is being researched. HyuN wants to hit now, and he wants to hit hard. But he needs to control the Infestors a little bit better. He needs to save them. These are the most important units in his composition. And if you just look at what Vampire currently has on the map, there are so many Immortals that he can do a lot of damage against Roaches. Roaches won't be the answer.
No, they will not. The Lynx may help out quite a bit, though. He doesn't really have any Force Fields to use. He's completely surrounded here. Doesn't matter if you have 6 Immortals in your army. If they can't fight Roaches, they only fight Lynx, and they all evaporate here. I think HyuN is going to take a very significant lead after this fight.
Yeah, exactly what we just talked about. The Roaches not doing too much here, but the Zerglings, they are the issue. And of course, the Infestors backing them up are huge. Finally, we have 1 Colossus that can deal with the Zerglings, but it's already a little bit too late. The 3rd base is under fire, and he might lose it. If HyuN decides to snipe it, Vampire has no chance of defending, and there it is. GG. Game 1 ends in favor of GSL HyuN.
He just totally dominated there. I felt like the build from Vampire was really strange. You know, why ever use Blink Stalkers defensively in this matchup? They're not that useful. I mean, yeah, they can be useful in a case where you're under a big, huge attack, but it sure didn't help defend his 3rd base. His Force Fields were off, and I feel like to rush to that plus, he got his Twilight Council out really fast and got Blink, and then he started +1 armor for a little bit, and then canceled it and started +2. He seemed nervous or kind of off his game. Something about his play just did not seem right on that game.
I think he really struggled with the positions that we saw. He had an idea in his head, and he didn't really follow through with it. HyuN just threw him off, especially when he was able to take down all these sentries. This was a huge problem. With the sentries gone, Force Fields were not an issue anymore. It was really difficult for Vampire to defend. And now he has to focus on map number 2.
Yeah, he does. And the map has not actually been revealed yet. It's Daybreak.
Daybreak is going to be the 2nd map. Let's find out if HyuN is claiming victory, if he goes to Godessa, if Vampire ties things up here at the GSL Korea and will force game number 3. Game number 1 was a little bit awkward for Vampire, it didn't look too strong, but HyuN is really in his element.
Yeah, and actually I feel like that Vampire just really was a little bit off his game. Like you said, HyuN threw him off a little bit. He's got to stay focused. He's got to really crack down in game number 2, because if he loses here, he's going to have to do the up and downs. Nobody wants that, but HyuN, even more so, wants that Codas spot. He's been wanting it for multiple seasons now. Can he take this? Can he seal the deal right now? This is the GSL Code A Vampire versus HyuN cast by Calder and Wolf.